is the 144th episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the third week of July, 2013. This episode is titled PRISM Hangouts. CloudFocus Week is sponsored by Arkus, your cloud computing experts. And I am your host, Jason Atwood. Joining me for the 144th time, co-host Justin Elsin. Justin, how are you doing today?
I'm not sure. I'm like in a whirlwind of stuff.
Honestly,
happening.
I will give you a little bit of I'll give you a mulligan on this podcast.
Could you please?
Yeah. Basically, this is going to be me talking about a lot of stuff and you going, oh, wow, that stuff exists?
That's interesting.
That's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
This is what people download this podcast for.
Yeah.
For informed decisions.
You're informed. You are informed. I am full of opinions.
You can just be the
give
sounding
me the
board.
Information, and I will.
You can be the guy who goes, what now? What just happened? Who just said what now?
I feel like you're going to surprise me with something crazy during this
You can do
podcast.
snap judgment consulting.
Snap judgments.
All right. Well, the first thing you actually have read. So we have today
Sure.
on the agenda, we are talking about the blog post of the week. We're going to talk about an article that came out, which probably will go into a huge path of stuff, which is Netflix is the new HBO, because we're going to talk about that.
Right. That was the one that caught my eye.
And
we
then
should just stick with that.
we're going to talk about PRISM, because we have not talked about it yet, and I feel like it's a major topic for cloud computing. And then there's an article out for talking about Yahoo and Marissa Myers. I think it has some interesting points. And then we will wrap up with CloudFocus Pick of the Week, as well as a sneak peek of next week's podcast special episode, which we'll talk about at the end.
Fans love the special episodes.
Yes, they do. So first up is the blog post of the week, which was entitled... Why don't you read this off? This is the one thing you do know.
This is the one. This is not the one thing I know.
The one thing.
There are 4 things you mentioned. I know 2 of them.
Oh,
I know
okay.
a little something about Marissa Myers, so I know 3 of them. Google Hangouts for the enterprise.
Nice.
I like this blog post. I'm a fan of it. I have picked Google Hangouts on the mobile. We've turned Google Hangouts on for
Why don't you
our
explain
enterprise.
what Google Hangouts are for anybody who doesn't know?
For anyone who doesn't know and who hasn't listened to the last number of podcasts, is Google turned their instant messaging or Jabber into and what existed on Google Plus as Hangouts, and just sort of combined them into one massive messaging system.
Yep.
That has the ability to be very integrated from multiple points of entry cross-platform. So there are mobile applications on Android devices, iOS devices. There's gmail.com interface. There's the Google Plus interface. There's a lot of different interfaces for communicating with multiple people at the same time. So it's very much like iMessage is on the iOS, except this is cross-platform.
It's cross-platform.
It includes video chat.
Well, so does iMessage.
Well, iMessage
FaceTime.
doesn't. It has FaceTime. It's a separate thing. This is the same thing.
Okay.
Like iMessage has, send a photo, but it doesn't have, click. All of a sudden, there's 6 people in an iMessage, and boom, you're on a video chat with those 6 people.
No, but it bounces you right into FaceTime on every app to use it on.
I know. We don't have to have the
No.
Apple apologist show here.
It's not. I'm just trying to give it someone. If someone's talking about what is Google Hangouts, I would describe it as it's Google's version of iMessage, but has a couple things. It's cross-platform. It has it can handle more video chatters at the same time. And it is available in a web interface, which iMessage is not. So that's how I describe it. I could have let you just go on and on.
Well, I would have kept going on and on. Screen sharing, all sorts of fun stuff built into it.
iMessage has screen share too, but never mind.
Yeah,
you can click and share a screen.
I'm not comparing it to iMessage.
I'm trying to give people who don't understand what Google Hangout is.
Well, what about those people who don't know what iMessage is? Why don't you explain iMessage?
Sure. iMessage is like if you took the I and you put it in front of message, and you have iMessage.
So it's easy. It all works.
That's right. It's by Apple, so it just works.
It just works.
It's
magic.
It's magic. It's aliens. Aliens?
Aliens, maybe.
All right. So what's this
Enough
podcast
fun for today.
What's this blog post about?
This is just how you can use Hangouts within the enterprise. Some use cases for it. We use it at Arkus. We turned it on. It's we use Gmail as our mail platform, Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drive,
Right.
all the Google enterprise products. And you basically turn it on, and it takes your Google, I guess the IM, right, the Messenger or Jabber or whatever it was, and turns it into Hangouts.
Right.
And then you can install the Hangouts app on your phone, and boom, you have your enterprise instant messenger and screen sharing and everything right there on your phone, which is a pretty neat feature when you think about it for what you're getting for what you're paying
Right.
for that Google account is pretty
So
hot.
here's my question. Do you use
Yeah.
it on your mobile?
I do all the time.
Where's the icon for Google Hangouts on your iPhone?
Where is it?
Yeah. Is it on the first screen? Is it in your dock?
It's not my dock. No. It's in my Google folder, which is on my home screen.
Okay. So it's not.
It's right here.
It hasn't made it. It hasn't made it anywhere
It's right
important
there.
yet.
No, it's not. It's not like super important. It's in a folder. It has not. You know, it's kind of funny. You asked me that question. Now we're going down a rat hole.
Rat hole.
Now, I would say in the dock, there's room for 4 icons. Yes.
Yes.
There is one that I use almost never. Music.
Oh,
Like,
why do you have that in your dock?
I don't know. Because it was there when the phone.
No, you're kidding me, and you haven't removed
It's
it
been in
since?
that bottom right corner since 5 or 6 years ago when I got my first iPhone. The first thing I did was move phone and messages, or at the time it was like SMS.
Right.
I flipped those. So
Right.
phone's in the top left and messages is in the bottom left, because messages to me was more important than having the
Yes.
phone in the dock.
Apparently, music is the most important thing.
Well, Mail, Safari, those make sense.
See, Safari isn't in mine because I don't go on my phone to surf. It pops up because people.
You don't browse on your phone?
I don't browse on my phone.
I browse.
Yeah.
I like having it there. And if I were to think about it, I should move music out of there and move something else into there.
This podcast is brought to you by
It's just-
Justin's iPhone icon management.
Seriously. Why is the music? I don't know why it's
All
there. I
right,
never
let's
even
move
use
on.
it. I should put,
Here's my
like,
favorite
a
part.
camera or
Favorite
something.
part of this. This is why this blog post will go viral.
Why is it
because
going
it's
viral?
a picture of you
Oh, my
doing
God,
a
it's
Google
so
Hangout.
bad.
It's horrible. It's like
I
you're going,
should not have
"Huh?"
approved this picture.
Yeah.
You know what it was? We were actually talking, and he like snapped a screenshot as we were. He was like smiling, like, "Haha, I'm capturing a bad
I'm gonna
picture
capture a picture of
And then
you,
he
and you look like
captured,
her.
and I'm like, oh.
Anyway,
dur,
so that's
dur.
at blog.arkusinc.com. That's on the new look and feel of our website, which we launched last
like it.
week. And there you go. Next up, after that, is an article that came out this morning. I tweeted it for many, many reasons. One is because we talk about Netflix and streaming TV a lot. Two is because I think we've been...
It's interesting. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm going to come back to this, though.
Good job. And the two is because it's a new show on Netflix that's getting a lot of hype. And three is I'm watching it, and you and I were discussing it. So I figured to kind of hit all those three things, and it give us the reason to rat hole into a bunch of TV shows we like.
Right.
So this could be the end of the podcast because we literally spend a lot of our time when we're not working talking about TV shows.
Right.
Which ones we like, what's the top 10, what other people should or should not be watching. We rag on other people who shall not be named because they're not watching the right episodes. They're watching trash when they should be watching great
garbage.
stuff. And generally, you and I agree on TV, although there's been a couple fails on your part, but that's okay.
Well, fails on your part, too.
But this is an article, I think, which is interesting. We've talked about this, I think, we talked about it when Arrested Development came back to Netflix, which is that, and I think maybe it was even, I don't know, maybe one of the predictions, but we've been talking about streaming TV and sort of how TV has become, broadcast and cable TV are being inundated with streaming systems. And so HBO Go being huge, you've made it your pick. Netflix, Hulu Plus, they're all just going more and more to streaming.
Don't forget Crackle.
And I've already forgotten, and I just said it, I forgot it again. But the theory is that your TV is no longer going to come as much from, or as much as you spend time watching it from cable as it will from probably the same provider, but you got your internet and the ability to watch multiple episodes. And so what's been interesting is watching these the streaming providers, and Netflix started actually sending discs. Obviously, it almost seems like historical now. Like they used to send you discs.
Right.
Now they went from sending discs to streaming, and now they've gone from streaming to producing their own new content.
I love it.
And they're new. And so this article is really about how saying Netflix is now going to the next level, becoming like HBO. HBO is known for being basically a movie channel to start, but then created its own content, and really now is really known more for its own
having
content
a rhythm and a rhythm to it.
And it's original content.
And expecting really good original content to come in a cycle. So when one season is over of a show, the next weekend or the weekend after that, boom, the next cycle comes around, right? So like Game of Thrones ends and then True Blood starts, or the Newsroom is on, or back in the day it was like, oh, The Sopranos ended and then The Wire came, and then
or
something
Sex and
else,
City.
right? And they have in the summer they have the 30-minute comedy stuff like Curb Your Enthusiasm, Entourage, Sex and the City, all of those 30-minute type of shows. So they got into like a rhythm, where now Netflix, I think that was also part of this, is that Netflix is becoming this place that is creating original content and creating a rhythm around it. So they've had, I think, four absolutely original content, even though I think they had the one that was not totally original. It was just, you can only watch it on Netflix. But the first one was it The House of Cards was the first one?
No, it was the other one. It was the
Lilyhammer?
Lilyhammer.
Well, that was the one I was leaving out.
Oh. I thought that was a Netflix original.
It was not. It was like their toe, dipped the toe in.
Okay.
So then House of Cards was the big first one.
Right.
Then came Arrested Development,
which was not original, but
but they took it,
saved
over,
it, right?
Then there's the one that I don't think anyone's really watched, like the like vampire werewolf.
That's the one you've been trying to get me to go watch?
No. I tried to watch this one and I couldn't watch it. I think it's by Eli Roth, but I couldn't watch it.
Okay.
I can't even remember the name of it. And now there's Orange is the New Black.
Wait, but I thought you were trying to get me to watch this one that had 5 shows.
Yes. I was trying to get you to watch The Fall.
So
for any of you listeners out there who've watched The Fall on Netflix, which is another great thing about Netflix, this is the only place you can see it.
Right.
So they have that thing going for them as well.
Right. Which
like
is
you
the
couldn't
HBO
see
model.
The Fall, which is a television series, but because it was done over in the UK, it wasn't broadcasted here at all. So now you can watch this show, which I tweeted that I was watching. I actually got quite a few responses like, oh, keep watching it, it's so great. Because I was like, after episode 1, I was like, whoa, intense. So anyway, but back to Orange is the New Black. This is the newest, and it's created like you've been doing this for years. I've been doing this for years.
It's called binge watching. Yeah.
We've been binge watching for years. You don't watch shows when they're on at all. It's like your general rule. You will not watch a show as it's going, right?
No,
I am different.
Well, I have a few rules, and let's go over them. One is I don't watch. No, I'm breaking it with this one, but I usually don't watch first seasons of anything.
Yeah, you don't watch first seasons. You didn't watch the first season of Homeland when it was like you should watch the first season.
Right.
Of Homeland. You're like, nope. Waiting for 2 of them.
That's right, because I generally don't want, because I've been bitten a few times where I get into a series and it's like I'm really really excited, and then they're like canceled.
You also don't watch series as they're on television
ever, never anymore, because my experience is that my enjoyment of a television series is multiplied by about 10 if I watch and I watch them in a bunch, meaning 2 or 3 at a time.
You binge on them.
Well, yes, and 3 at a time becomes more like a movie to me. And then the other thing is, I also find that if you watch them in a row or in binge watching in like a week or so, you don't lose characters, you don't lose things, and the more complicated the plot, it just does all the things good. If it's a really bad show, it makes it better. If it's a really good show, it makes it incredible and intense, and you just can't stop thinking about it.
It's a hard show to watch as it's on? Justified. Justified's really hard to watch.
Yeah, I don't watch it as it's on.
See, I am a little different from you. I will watch shows that I really, really enjoy. Like when Mad Men's on, I'm watching it. When Breaking Bad comes back in a few weeks, guaranteed I'm watching it.
Yeah, no way.
As it's on. Actually, not true. I let the episode start on my TiVo for about 15 minutes, and then I watch, so I can watch without
I just
commercials.
love not being beholden to any TV when anything's on, and I like actually watching things in a row when I'm ready to watch them, and not have to worry about is this going to happen, or am I going to get to the next one, or is it going to come up, or something like that. So I will say the only thing that this has been a problem with is that most people now are very good with TV series. I was meeting a friend the other day
It has
for brunch,
eliminated a bit of a culture thing.
which is great, which is that you used to go and talk about TV, and now it's like, oh, what episode are you on, or whatever you're on. Like, we're big at Game of Thrones fans.
Ask,
you have to say
you can't just blurt stuff out.
You have to say what season,
right.
what episode, whatever. But I would say the only show that I've read in the last many years that I felt has been really hard to stay like that. Actually, just two shows. One is The Shield. When I was watching The Shield, I guess it was over. There was a few things about The Shield, and we were kind of, I guess the last season was going, and we were doing like a 5-season catch-up. There were a few people in it that I knew about, and that kind of ruined it. And the other one was Game of Thrones. Like, I knew that Game of Thrones was
give anything away.
I'm not going to. I would never do that. But I'm saying that Game of Thrones, everybody was watching it as it goes. I mean, you and the other person were watching it, so we were talking about it. You were not talking about it, but I was like, I also knew that the minute it ended, it was going to be very hard for people to hold back. So I planned it, so I watched it. So literally, I watched the entire series, and then we finished the second to last episode as the last episode started the TiVo, and then just watched that. So when I got over it, I watched the last episode with everybody else, but I didn't have to watch the whole series over 13 weeks. I got to watch it all in like 1 week.
Well, it's a 10-episode show.
Or 10 weeks, whatever.
By the way, the show I was thinking of on Netflix is called Hemlock Grove.
Okay.
Which hasn't done very well.
I mean, other than a list of our favorite TV shows, which could be its own fun podcast, like we just get on and talk about TV. Hey, let us know. Tweet us up. If you like that, we'll literally get on and talk about TV.
My top 5 is very solid.
Right. And don't even do it.
Solid.
Leave the suspense. We do top 10. I just think that's really, really fascinating that this is the way. And I call this all the time. You've heard me say this. It's the golden age of TV.
It sure is.
It is the golden age, and the change from movies to TV is almost 100% there. I could give a rat's patootie about most movies now, and I love TV. Like the new, if it's a new big blockbuster like Wolverine's
Superman
coming out.
Or something. See, I'm not into those,
But
so I could care less.
I like those because they're like a piece of candy. It's like, oh, it's good, and it lasts 10 minutes. And
I
it's
go
good.
to the theater and fall asleep during those because it's dark.
Well, that's your own problem. But for really good dramas and stuff, like TV is just producing
FX
better and
has
better.
stepped up their game.
Oh, yeah.
AMC has stepped up their game, although Mad Men's going to end soon and Breaking Bad's going to end like this year in a couple months. So those are the two cornerstones for them. I don't really like The Killing all that much.
Yeah, I've heard The Killing.
I watched the first season, and then I was like, no, you're screwing with me. I'm not watching you anymore. Now they're on season 3, and people are like, oh, you should come back. Season 3 is great. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
See?
Because I will not watch season 2.
My theory was better. Was you wait until people are on season 3 and telling you that you got to go season 1, season 2 is going to be a little down, but season 3 is going to get better.
Not doing it.
Because you didn't listen.
Nope, not doing it.
Anyway, I love it. In terms of a cloud, if we're going to spin it for the cloud, this is just unbelievable, and I'm so excited. In fact,
could you have seen this coming like 5 years ago? Netflix original content, like they're going to really put themselves out there. I think that's a lot of money. They bid against HBO on House of Cards.
Yeah. By the way, if you haven't watched House of Cards, watch it. It's very good.
Man, that's bidding against the big boy.
Yeah.
I think they won because they guaranteed a second season.
Right.
And HBO wouldn't.
They wouldn't guarantee unless someone said
they wouldn't, because you got Kevin Spacey anchoring a show. You should be like, yeah, this will probably be good.
Yeah. Anyway, I just love it. I love
you watched that too in the first season. You're breaking your own rules.
Well, I think part of it is because they're chunks. Well, first of all, it's a very low part of TV right now. It's the summer. There's not a lot out.
You didn't watch House of Cards like yesterday. You watched it like very shortly after it came out.
What's unique about them is they actually release them all at the same time. So that's what's kind of fun.
Throw them all out there for you. Some writers are like, man, they should think about just releasing 3 at a time or something like that, just to make it more like a TV experience. But I'm all about.
I don't think so.
Let me watch them when I want to watch them.
Well, this is a good example. So let's talk about Orange Is the New Black, because what they did is they launched it on a Thursday. Like
without much fanfare except the internet. They use
well,
the internet.
It's all over the subways here in New York, which is odd.
I didn't see it
It's
anywhere.
all over the subways. But what's interesting is by launching it all at the same time, and by launching it on a sort of a low point in TV land, it got picked up by the internet, world, and so everybody's sort of been talking about it. So interesting stuff. If you haven't watched it, I'm loving I'm loving that this is where it's going. Only thing I wish now is that HBO would get off of cable and just become HBO streaming.
HBO Go.
HBO Go, $7.99. Let me dump my cable thing completely. Next up is an interesting article, or not interesting thing we could talk about. Maybe I'll talk about it and I'll talk about it and sound half intelligent, and then you'll sound like a quarter intelligent.
Maybe not even that much.
Which is PRISM, which is a government program that got outed by I think it was CIA agent.
Was it a Russian spy?
He was not, but he's now
From
holding
the
out.
Americans? Sorry, I called back to the TV thing.
He's
a callback.
He's holding out. Well, this is let's make jokes about government spying on U.S. citizens. Hey,
it's a callback to a TV show.
Hey, it's funny. I mean, again, as an internet user, I'm not going to talk about the government because there's all sorts of political things. There's a political spin on this and who's doing what and whatever. I really want to ask you a question, so I'm going to take this away from the article and I'm going to take it into a question.
Good, because
you know nothing about this. Yes,
so ask me a question.
What do you feel about your privacy on the internet?
What do I feel about it?
Yeah.
Can you be a little more specific?
No. Tell me what your feelings about privacy on the internet. This is basically saying that the government has had a program in place for years to monitor web traffic for people, for browsers, for emails, phone calls. And the takeaway from this is you have absolutely no privacy. And really all the tracking software and the stuff that's going on in Google and how they track your stuff and ad tracking, I mean, it is absolutely the Facebook, the Twitter, it's a stunning new world we live in. And part of it is due to our want to be social in these social networks. And then part of it's due to trying to protect, people. Bad people are going to use the internet just like good people. And so if you want to monitor and stop the bad people, you need to start to monitor the places that they're going. If you say, hey, we're not going to monitor the internet, well, then guess what? They're going to use the internet because that's a place that they can not be monitored. I guess I'll just say I'll do my speech, and then you can.
You didn't really give me a chance to answer.
You can go ditto.
Question.
I actually don't care. I know this is crazy, but I have a theory about the internet, and I've been on the internet for a long, long time. Anything I put out there is public.
It's written in pen.
Well, but no matter what I put out there, if I put out my credit card number, I just assume that somehow it's going to get hacked, right? And I have protections against that. If I put out my phone number, I assume someone's going to call me. If I put my address, I assume I'm going to get spam. If I put my email address, I'm pretty much sure. I mean, if someone went in and hacked my Google, not my Google account, my Amazon account and saw everything I purchased, okay. Like, I just kind of feel like by taking it onto a computer and putting it and physically or whatever digitally adding it to the world, I'm basically saying, and I kind of feel like, I'm not saying I want that to happen. I'm not saying I want you to have every one of my bank statements, and that wouldn't make me happy.
By tomorrow, some listeners going to have,
all
your statements.
I kind of had lowered my expectation for what my own privacy is because I've been doing it. I've been breaking my own privacy for a long time. I've been putting my personal information onto the internet, onto other people's computers, some of which I trust, some of which I don't even know what they do with the data. So I kind of think every time I put something in, yeah, if you want that, good. You want to see what I purchased? Fine. I mean, I'm not saying I'm writing a blog post saying, here's everything I purchased, or here's what I was Googling, but I kind of feel like, I don't know, I don't have a big, and I was talking with my wife about it, and I was like, what do you feel about internet privacy? She's like, yeah, I don't think anything's private. I don't really care. I was like, oh, okay. It's interesting. So that's why I asked you, what do you feel like? Do you have a feeling about your privacy?
I actually don't even think about it.
Well, do you understand that everything you put out there is totally
in that respect?
unprivate?
I guess I don't care.
Okay.
Because I don't really think about it at all. Like, the most I think about it is, like, if I want to, hide some pictures from people on Facebook or something. Like I don't think about it in broader terms than that. Like, everything I'm doing on the internet is being tracked.
Every phone call you make, every email you send. I just don't
really think about it at all.
Well, okay, every email.
Okay.
Because kind of what I write in emails, or I'm not writing my.
Well, it's kind of like
deepest
like
thoughts.
What am I saying that I don't like someone wouldn't overhear me saying in a bar? Like, what's the difference in an email?
No, I mean, I've written stuff in emails that I wouldn't want on the Wall Street Journal.
I mean,
but
I wouldn't want any of our Salesforce.com consulting competitors to see our Arkus Inc. emails between us, either ourselves or our clients or something like that. But that's not what we're talking about.
Oh,
I don't
know
think.
Because that's more of espionage than it is.
I mean, that's not exactly what we're talking about here. But anyone who uses like
privacy.
Gmail knows you get the ads, and those ads have to get there somehow. So something's reading what's in your. I mean, I go to any website and I've got an ad for Salesforce. Like, so something's something
mine
is
are all
going on there.
Mine are all camper vans right now.
Yeah,
long story.
Like something's happening, right? So it's just a thing. Like, I'm looking at this website that we've got. This one doesn't even have ads. Wow, interesting website. No ads, but you kind of just take it not really for granted, but I think most people don't think about it. And then it's like astonishing when something happens, when in reality, if you just stopped and thought about it for a few minutes, you'd be like, oh yeah, okay. Kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting because we used to have much as a society. I felt we had a thing about security and privacy and your privacy.
We do with certain things still.
I think two things have happened. One is the social networks have made everybody break down their privacy, meaning we now, I mean, for the good or bad, whatever, I'm not going to get into that topic, but everybody posts what they had for lunch. They post where they go. They post that they're at this place. I mean, we have broken down our own walls of privacy tremendously, meaning, right, we're more happy than to tell everybody where we are at any point in time and every little thought. And then the second thing is we are. I think that has sort of led us into this false sense of, well, I'm putting it behind this. I trust Facebook, and Facebook would never give my data to the government, or Yahoo would never give my data to the government, or Apple would never give my data to the government. And the reality is, yeah, they would. That's it. They might, and they might give your data to the government. And then you should just be thinking, well, what kind of data are they going to give? And I think about using Dropbox. Okay, what do you put in Dropbox? Yeah, I mean, I have poems I've written in high school in Dropbox. I think, okay, if someone read that, they might go, boy, he didn't know how to write poetry in high school, or he was a tortured soul, or whatever, or he couldn't rhyme orange. But I don't know. Anyway, I don't even know how I think about it, because I'm sort of somewhere between, my old school feelings of privacy is something that's, so sacred, and sort of this new world where, we just don't have any privacy anymore. And is that okay? And does it, I guess the next level we won't get into, but does that make us safer as a country, as a person? And we'll just move right on.
All right.
Speaking of safe people, that was the best one yet. I found this interesting because there's been lots of news about Marissa Mayer. And Marissa Mayer was someone who came from Google and took over.
We've talked about her before a few times.
Who went over and took over Yahoo and has done a bunch of stuff. She stopped working from home. She killed a lot of their projects. She's then went and bought Tumblr. She's done a lot of acquisitions to try to build up Yahoo's brand. And, this was on Read Write Web, which I really like. And then the headline is, "Newsflash from Marissa Mayer, Yahoo's brand is still dying." And I was thinking, you know what? That's true. Like, I don't really know what you could do with this brand, because they have not been relevant for so long, and buying Flickr and Tumblr and whatever doesn't really
there's one place where they're still relevant on the internet.
Please don't say fantasy football.
No, I was going to say
Okay, it's 2 places.
Yahoo Sports. Yahoo Sports is still a destination for a lot of people for breaking content. Like they break a lot of stories.
Yeah.
They still have the best user experience as far as like box scores, in-game stuff, like for looking at statistics.
You know
it's
why?
Really very well laid out.
It's just very simple. Like they don't
super
overdo
simple. It's very easy. And they're like all their stats layouts, their player cards, news, team pages, everything is very well laid out, organized, and simple. I mean, they could do like a Yahoo Sports spin-off thing and be just fine. It's all the rest of the crap that they've been doing over the last 10 years that sort of gets in their way, I think. They're a lot like AOL at this point.
Oof.
They kind of are.
Well,
I mean, AOL tried to reposition themselves as like a content destination, right? And then they bought TechCrunch and HuffPost, right?
also merged with Time Warner.
Well, that was before.
Yeah.
But they stopped being like providers of the internet and other services. Like, I don't know, when I see people using their AOL email account,
Like your dad.
like my dad, I'm like, Dad, you've got like 5 other email accounts. What are you using this one for? I'm like, oh, all right. Someone hasn't checked the internet in a while. Like, same thing with a Yahoo email account. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, I have one.
I think everyone has them.
Well, I think they
but it's
shut
like,
it down
what are
after
you-
a certain
What are
period
you
of time. You don't
doing
use
with
it.
that? Why are you using that?
I don't know. I was just trying to think. Okay, so sports is something that,
Yahoo Sports is still excellent. It's very well done.
but that's like such a tiny little piece of their world. That's like okay. I mean, search. Do you go to Yahoo to search?
No, I
anymore?
type something into my Earl bar and it uses Google as its default.
I mean, they've literally been slammed from every direction. Their directory service is no longer important. Tumblr, while a microblogging platform is interesting, the next person will build another one and it'll be 5 seconds later.
Humbler.
You know, Tumblr. They never, Twitter and Facebook have taken over the social scene. They never even were in the social scene. I remember
They tried.
I remember the big one was I feel like their fall was the homepage when they had that, not the fall but the peak. The peak was when you had your Yahoo homepage, you had my homepage, and you had that customizable thing that you could go and put all these little
Yahoo
Finance
and
finance and sports and email, and you could customize it. I feel like that's the last time I went to Yahoo for anything is when I had that But then Excite came out, and Excite took that. No, Excite was better, and everybody used Excite as their homepage.
And then like RSS and NetVibes and Google, iGoogle, right? Google.
Which they're killing off, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
It
those
just seems
things
like
were
they
just
haven't been
killer.
able to stick with the times, and they're always like 2 minutes too late. It's interesting because they were almost be bought out by Microsoft at one point. I wonder if they're looking back like, boy, you should have just taken that deal.
Should have just taken that check. They would have just killed it the way we're dying anyway.
So the
Even
article-
though their stock price is up more than 70%.
Well, that's what I was saying. This article is talking about how the stock price is up, but the relevance of Yahoo is down, and none of the stuff that their usage is down, and so your stock price has been buoyed for a second because I think she brought a lot of hype to it. But the reality is there's none of the products underneath. And again, even if you ask me what are their products, I'd be like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know what. If you ask Google, what's Google known for? Oh, Google's known for search and for probably mail at this point, and and Android, right? Apple, it's known for the iPod, iPhone, and computers. Microsoft for Office and I don't know, servers, and Yahoo, what's it known for? Well, was that? No, that was like 10 years ago. Wait, no, that's kind of. They have the exclamation point at the end of their name, right? That's them. I just feel like they never really.
And they had that TV, like the Yahoo jingle thing.
Yahoo.
That guy.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. It just struck me as a kind of a wow. What's happened to Yahoo in a while? All right, well, that was our news. Not much news in the news world. Thusly, for next week, we're going to come back and we're going to do another special episode.
Nice.
This special episode will be about paperless.
Going paperless.
Going paperless. I'm going to call it paperless.
Don't pop your peas.
I'm going to pop my pee.
Paperless.
Popping my pee paperlessly.
Ugh.
So it will be accompanied with the week after with a blog post, which I've already started writing about 10 years of paperless. I'm kind of stretching a little bit, although I went back and I looked at my first e-statement, 2001. So I could kind of go far. I could kind of go farther than 10.
All right.
But so next week we're on the podcast. We're going to discuss all things paperless. We're going to do tips, tricks, gear, the what's, the hows,
the who's, the what's, the who's.
And Justin's just going to listen to me talk about
listen to you talk.
Well, we run a paperless. You generally do paperless.
Yes.
All right, so we'll talk about it. All right. Now let's get to our CloudFocus app pick of the week.
So this is very serendipitous.
So it's not here yet. So I don't see it.
I did not. I wanted to surprise you.
Oh, okay.
It's because of what our conversation was about that I decided to go this route as opposed to another route.
So, okay.
So I was in the elevator yesterday. And
we're all good CloudFocus app pick of the week to come from.
Yep. And I can't remember. Is it New York Magazine or New Yorker that has that on the back, the last page has that like matrix? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the matrix that has like the
red pill, blue pill?
No, like it has the 4 quadrants, like despicable, highbrow, lowbrow, no, genius, like stuff like that. All right, whatever. One of those magazines.
I'm looking at you blankly.
In the bottom right corner, it was in the like genius yet lowbrow category was a app called Hell is Other People.
Do we have to go explicit?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
It's the name of something. So Hell is Other People.
Yes.
Is an anti-social network, much like Fake Block.
A fake block.
So I see I've tied this together twice now.
Okay.
So this is an app built on Heroku. So tied into Salesforce.
Okay.
Where you allow you OAuth into Foursquare. Okay.
Okay.
It's a web app only. It doesn't exist anywhere else. I'll give you the website.
It'll be in the show notes.
In the show notes.
Blog.arkusinc.com.
You can also Google Hell is Other People. You'll find it. And what it does is...
Can I Yahoo it?
You might be able to Yahoo it. What it does is it shows you on a map where your Foursquare friends are, or presumably the last checked in.
Yes.
It shows you the last checked in date.
Yes.
So that you can avoid them.
That's kind of funny.
That is the whole point of this anti-social network
funny.
app built on Heroku. And the kind of funny part about it being the anti-social network is that you have to share. You have to log in via Foursquare and give it your stuff.
Right.
So it's like the anti-social network, yet it's collecting your information at the same time.
Makes no sense.
Well, it's piracy software that's private. So Hell is Other People's my pick. I can see right now that there's someone I want to avoid. He's in Times Square. But I'm in Times Square. I got to get out of here.
That's not bad. All right, kind of funny.
It has orange dots for like friends, and then there's like these green dots that it uses as like coordinates.
Yes.
That it's like, oh, you can go here because it's they're safe zones. They're far enough away, like from all of your friends. It's kind of just an interesting take. It's built on Heroku, so I figured I'd bring it up.
It's definitely funny.
Yeah, it's just
obviously
funny,
it's
satirical.
Obviously that people check in. Like I always find, I like the near check-in thing. That's the only alert I have on Foursquare turned on because it's fun to see. Because if one of my friends is nearby and literally checks in 10 blocks away, that's kind of fun. Oh, they're over there. Side note, have you been getting these special alerts on your phone?
Yes.
What is
that? Amber Alerts.
We got an Amber Alert today.
What is that?
I don't know.
I'm in the subway. I'm listening to something, and then sirens are going off in my ear. I'm like, what's happening? And I look at my phone, and it's like some car thing.
Amber Alert.
Amber Alert. What is an Amber Alert?
Well, Amber Alert's when a child goes missing.
Why am I getting them on my phone?
Well,
what did I sign up for?
Because it gives you the it gives you the license plate and the type of car you should be looking for that the kid got taken
But why
by.
am I getting that on my phone? I didn't sign up for that.
I don't know. I literally been getting them. I got one for like flood warning the other day.
Yeah, I've been getting them like
Same ones.
Same ones. Why am I getting these?
All right, people tweet at us.
iOS, what's happening?
It's something you've signed up for that's now coming
I don't
through.
like it. I don't want them.
think it's awesome.
I don't think it's awesome.
Well, Amber Alerts are very good because they save kids' lives,
That's
so I
good,
do think
but
it's awesome.
I don't really want it. on
Okay,
my
well,
phone.
you figure out how to
I
turn it
didn't
off.
sign up for it, so I don't really want it.
It's not some app. It's got to be something lower level. It's something on the. It's either on the.
Well, it's like making noise until I like turn it off.
Yeah.
Very
All right.
weird.
You figure that out. I'm going to tell people what my pick of the week.
You do that.
So this is due to. So It's a Times Square pick. It's actually Times Square and around. So if you ever come to Times Square, I was looking at going to show next week, a show, but the show I want to go to is very expensive. So I was like, oh, I wonder if I can get tickets cheaper. And if you know about Times Square in New York City, you know that at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can go to the ticket, or I think it's 2, maybe 2 or 3. TKTS, which is a place in Times Square where you can go get discount tickets the night of. So it's things that go that night. So you show up at 2, you get in line, it opens at 3, and whatever they have, you can buy for 20, 40% off. But I was like, oh, I don't want to walk over there because it is 4 blocks away in the middle of the heat to figure out what's actually playing. So I wonder if they have an app. Well, they have an app. There's an app for that. It's called TKTS. It's on the iOS. And it basically shows you what that night's thing is and what's going to be available. Then you still have to go wait in line. You can't buy them. But at least it shows you could look at it in the day and go, oh, I actually want to go see that. Let me go over there and stand in line and get tickets for it. So TKTS, little one. I'm basically going to make about 10 picks next week in a row. Because I was thinking about the gear that I use for paperless, and it's at least 10 things. Some of which I've already picked on this podcast. But so I'm going to make about 10 picks next week. So I throw a little mini one in there this week. All right. Well, that's it for us. Remember to follow Justin at Just Edelstein. Follow me at Jason M. Atwood and Arkus at Arkus Inc.
Don't
on
forget
Twitter.
the Dreamforce stuff.
Are we still doing the Dreamforce stuff?
Well, we just hit a significant goal today as a group.
As a group. Oh, this is the MVP?
Yeah, the $100 off. I mean, you want to give people the thing, $100 off.
All right. Tell everybody how you can register for Dreamforce.
Go register for Dreamforce. Get $100 off by using the promo code D13MVPREF.
Nice. Use that, get $100 off.
$100 off.
I think it just went up it's going up tomorrow.
It's like going up. So just go register and use the $100 off.
I was on someone's website. I guess FYI.
Is that a website?
Yep. And guess what? He has a nice big
banner.
He has a
ad or
banner
something?
ad for it.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, that's $100 off your Dreamforce.
You're right. He does save $100. Use this code.
There you go.
There you have it.
Why don't we buy Google AdWords?
What if I click it? If I click it, I just land on the Dreamforce thing.
All right, let me wrap up this show. All right.
Just wrap it up already.
Remember to go to facebook.com/Arkus Inc. We're in the Dreamforce Portal app. We're also in the Success Community group. What do we can call that? What do you call that? What do you say go to the Salesforce?
The Success Community.
Success Community. All right, we're in there. We have our own group in there if you want to join that group as well. We'll post all the podcasts in there, maybe some polls. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Google+. Remember to subscribe and leave reviews in iTunes. That would be great.
We love that.
Also, remember, now there's, if you want to subscribe, you can also use apps like Instacast, which we love. You can also use apps like Stitcher, which I picked last week. And until next week, we'll be back with our special episode on going paperless. Enjoy those cloudy days.